Okay, good morning everyone. Myself Shahili Majumdar. So, first, let me share my presentation with all of you. I think all of you can see my screen. If yes, kindly say something so that I can proceed. Hello.
Yeah, the slides are
Yes, it
visible.
is visible.
Okay, so good morning everyone. Myself Shahili Majumdar, and my today's topic is AI-driven cancer analysis, exploring genomic and histopathological dimensions. So the first thing is, what is computational oncology? Computational oncology, as all of you well about that, how many people got affected because of cancer in today's world and how like dangerous this disease is. So in today's world, to discuss about computational oncology, to be a part of the whole process is very crucial for all of us, I consider, and those people who have the knowledge of computer science, medicine, biology. And not only, like for myself, I don't have biology in plus 2 level, like in 11, 12, I don't have biology. But I think if you have the curiosity to know things and if you want to be a part of it, then you can obviously be a part of it. So, computational oncology is basically an integrating field of computer science, biology, and medicine, and it focuses on understanding, modeling, and predicting cancer behavior using computational methods. Now, here comes the one of the main part. So, like while we are working on the data set, the main thing is you need to first focus on what the data that is given to us. Today, I will show you like what's the data set and how do we work on that. But before going to the modeling part and predicting part, the first thing is to what's the data want to tell us. Like that ED, exploratory data analysis part, is a very important thing. Like when you go to the research field and do some like analysis, you obviously may don't have the knowledge of what the data set is there. And in case of medical data set, there is another thing, like for a treatment, like there is a only by using that treatment string, there are several columns. So you have to well about that, on which column you need to do the performation on which column you need to do your logics. Next, it involves genomics, transcriptomics, proteomics, and histopathological data. Now, maybe the term histopathology is new to maybe a lot of people. When I start my working on computational oncology, this term is new to me also. Basically, I think all of you know about pathology. Pathology is basically the whole tree. Like the in our family, we have a father figure, and then we have here pathology is like our father figure. Pathology consists of body fluid, cell, tissues, and each and everything. And in case of histopathology, like it's a subset of pathology. Why? Because histopathology only consists on focusing of the cell tissues. Now, in case of computational oncology, all of you know about when someone like has a tumor and that tumor got to a like a cancer cell tissue, how that involves. Basically, but one cell first got that some like cancer behavior and then it propagates to other region. So that's why in like computational oncology, the main focus is on histopathological data. We basically concentrate our knowledges in the cell tissues. And proteomics, transcriptomics, genomics, these are the factors because of which the whole modeling and whole predicting process gets more effective. We get the result in more vividly pattern. Supports personalized and precision oncology approaches, obviously because of the day-to-day knowledge that we gain from our dataset and the rigorous research processes. It helps us to get to a better days when maybe we got all the resources to fight um, like fight for the cancer. Though in today, like in today's world also, there are a lot of medicines are used, but the all of the cancer's treatment is going on, but we maybe don't get the final cure of it. But because of computational oncology, obviously we can dream of a future when we can cure all of it. So next is Significance is because of computational oncology, the slide images that we get that is very large. Like a particular slide image maybe is of size in gigabyte. So that's why it computational oncology can enables a large scale multiomics analysis. Multiomics analysis in case of multiomics means computational oncology. By using it we can get some resources like some cell tissues result, some proteins result, by analyzing some RNA we get some results and we can match that and we can get a better result, and facilitates biomarker and therapeutic target discovery. As all of you know that in case of cancer, from a cell the disease started and then it propagates to other cells. So suppose if we can find out from which cell it propagates, and if the cancer is like if someone gets that their result at the early stage, then there are some chances then we that cancer got cured, because of that target discovery we can use our therapeutic method to that particular cell and that can propagate to, like in the propagation of drug help us so that the cancer doesn't propagate more, improves diagnosis, prognosis and treatment decisions because of the immense knowledge from the scientists that are working on computational oncology. They help us to improve the whole diagnosis process and make us to have our treatment decision in more rigidly and rigorously. Now next comes from where we got all those data. Like while to work on the cancer data set, obviously you need the resource. Now it's
Okay, just a
always
question. Sorry for interrupting.
yes.
You mentioned that the slide image. Can you just describe briefly that what is a slide image?
Okay, slide image basically means suppose you. I already told that in case of histopathology, we basically focused our research on cell tissues, right? So why if you take a cell tissue and put that on microscope, then you get in a slide, like a slide put on that microscope and we get that image. That's considered as a slide image, and after some slide I will also show you guys like what is how does a slide image looks like. So I think it's cleared, then I can proceed.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. So now in terms of dataset, like dataset, there are basically two sites which can give us the public access to get the cancer dataset. One is GDC and another one is CBio portal. Both of these portal has a rigorous like datasets, but they have some differences. Now in case of TCGA is the cancer genome atlas, and it consists of several data like DNA mutations, RNA expressions and a lot of things are there. I will let you show how to like open that and how to access the data too in today. And the next question is GDC portal and CBio portal same? No, they are different. In case of different, the basic difference between GDC portal and CBio portal is like while looking at the GDC portal for someone who maybe don't have the knowledge of like how to do the data analysis and on, it kind of difficult for them to understand like how the data is interpreting, because all of the things we need to do by ourselves, like the processing part and analysis part have to done by ourselves. But in CBio portal there is already a lot of visualization, a lot of integration is already done, so that someone who maybe don't have the knowledge of computational biology or don't have the knowledge of how to do all those analysis, they can also like have a look at that and understand how the things are working on. So first let's look at both of the portal. Now for GDC, so this is the GDC portal, that is Genomic Data Commons data portal. Here while opening, I think all of you can see my screen, the National Cancer Institute GDC data portal.
Yes.
So here what is there? First, while opening the portal, there are here all the cancers that are caused by the major prime site is given, but there are some names for it. Now, suppose BLCA. BLCA is a cohort. In cancer, while we are working on it, there are some cohort like BLCA here. What is written? Bladder urothelial carcinoma. Basically, so the primal site where this type of cancer happens is bladder, and there are some other cohort, like these are considered as the cohort BLCA, BRCA, HNSC. HNSC means head and neck, and there are a list of, if you just search TCGA all cohort names, then you can get all the names of the cohort that available here. TCGA study abbreviations, and then you can get all the types of cohort that is there. Like this is BRCA, breast invasive carcinoma, and the thing that I am saying is HNCA. HNSC, yes, here HNSC, head and neck squamous cell carcinoma. So while doing this research, suppose if you want to look at this BLCA dataset, suppose this BLCA, bladder urothelial carcinoma, for your own purpose, it's not like something you can't do, or but there is one thing that nowadays, as cancer research is has a great future, so if you are working with an organization, then you can't display all the results that you have worked on for them, as it's a very private thing. But suppose for your own practice, you can obviously do some research. Just go to TCGA, PLC, or whatever cohort you want to work on. Then there are this kind of, you can see this, like there are some pop-ups. Now if you click on clinical, then there will be two types of file, TSV and JSON. I think most of them know about TSV. Basically TSV is like CSV file, but the specimen delimiter is \t. So now if you click on this TSV file, it started downloaded, and I already downloaded beforehand so that I can let you see. So this kind of .tar file is got downloaded, and after that you have to extract all. While getting this result, there are basically all those files that are presented there: clinical.tsv, exposure.csv, and these kind of things. Now to do the basic like computational oncology data analysis, you need to open this clinical.tsv. Now after clinical, how do we like access that data? For that, here, if you look at this slide image, this is the slide image that we got from where this is the cohort BLCA. BLCA is bladder urothelial carcinoma. Today I also show you how to got that like slide image. And this slide, this is the particular name of that slide. Here, each and every particular slide has a distinct name, and if you like search this slide name like TCGA ZF and this slide name, then you also get to see this like slide image there. Now coming to this overview of biomedical dataset that I am saying earlier, how to get to this file. Suppose the same as PD, NP, PLT and SNS for data visualization. I already use this, as I get to show you the visualization also. To read the file, first you need to copy the path, and then the separator is \t, and you got to see the like the data frame that is available for that particular file. I also want to show you that how come I do the like data analysis part, so that you can have a better understanding of it. Wait a minute. Here here if I think all of you can share it. Here I beforehand do some like replace missing markers. That's not the thing. Here first look at here, from where we got our data set TCGA BLCA cohort. That's why all the project ID is TCGA BLCA, and for a particular case this case ID is given. There is another one thing, that while getting those results, suppose this is obviously the information from a particular patient, and TCGA has already take the consent. Like if you don't take the consent, then obviously TCGA can't store it. But there is another important thing: none of the patient's information is available here. For all the patients, there is a unique case ID. Like here, for this person, there is unique case ID, but you never get to know about like what's the person and what's his name and belongings. Nothing is shown here. And in this way, there are, I think all of you can see that there are 2412 number of rows. A lot of rows are there. Now to check the shape, it's a shape of 2412 cross 210. Now considerably, if you consider the all the data set that we have used in computational oncology, considerably it is a less number of things that is presented there. It's quite small, because in day to day's life, the data sets that are used is quite very large. Now come to the part of like how do we demonstrate the things. From the dataset, we got a field for demographic.gender. Now there is one thing, that how come you understand that which particular field is important for us. For that, like, you need to do some practice obviously, but there are some key points too. Suppose in a cancer dataset, what can affect? First thing is, one thing is from when the treatment got started, like in stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. That's a question that all of us can find out. So while like doing some research, you need to find out, like using some pandas basic abbreviation you can use, and how check in which fields there are abbreviation for this age or this treatment or stage, like which particular fields can contain this kind of keywords. Here in the gender distribution, we take the field of demographic dot gender, and after getting the plot, we can see that the number of male and female is very different. The proportion is very different, but whatever. From here, we can understand that from for this particular site, for like for BLCA cohort, the gender distribution is like this for the male and female distribution. Here I also represent some more distribution. Race means race. I think more or less all of you know about race means whether someone is Asian, white, and mention again one thing here. Maybe a lot of people consider this not reported thing is as a null, but in case of race distribution, not reported is not a null thing. Not reported means that can also be considered as someone maybe don't want to disclose their race. That can also happen. So while doing this analysis, you need to consider those things. Okay. Now I also present the age distribution. In case of age, how does this is basically the code that is written. I will share the slide later, so if anyone want to like get a look at the code, then they can. I can outline some of the basic things, like here when calculating the age years, maybe there is no particular field that is giving you the age, so you obviously like do some analysis and get the years in age. Maybe some ages is pointed out like 36.25, maybe 36 years, and they are calculating on basis of something else. So for that you need to consider that. And the distribution that we get is like this. So the more or less people that get diagnosis at that time of their age is like this. Understand, this is patient count. So maybe the number of patient who got their diagnosis done at the age of like 70 or on like that is around 240 or 230, in that range. Now I another thing that I have done is the distribution for patients considering their stages, like tumor in the like at the basic stage, stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4. Now there is one thing that I want to let you know, that how you understand like what we want to present there, what kind of visualization we need to present, as there are a lot of things that is presented in our data set, and there are a lot of things that we can do. So what are the particular fields which give us a better result? For that, I will suggest you that, like, while started working on the dataset, you maybe don't get the things. So for that, there is the most like the best way to get those things done is to take a look at the paper. Just go to the Google Scholar and type computational oncology, and you get a look of a lot of papers. And in the primary state, look at the papers which is of basic level. Basic level means, like, if you consider this TCGA dataset, CBio portals dataset, there are mixture of the datasets too. But don't at the primary stage go over there. First go over only the TCGA dataset, the papers that's only working on that, and try to understand how they are working, and so that you can also implement this kind of things to your own data. Now this is vital status representation. Here the vital status means, like, how many people are dead and how many people are alive, means the data set that we get from there, from like on the time when the data is collected. On the basis of that, how many people are already dead and how many people are still alive, and they gave the consent to collect their data and do the analysis part. And this is vital status by tumor stage, means on the stage 0, how many people are dead and how many people are alive. Here there is one thing that you can understand from the distribution. In case of stage 4, if you look at, then most of the people are dead and the number of people who is alive is very less, considerable the amount count number of patient. And in case of stage 0, the number of patient who is dead is less, considerably the number of patient who is alive. So what does that means? Basically, at the stage 0, if someone got understand that they have the tumor which is containing a cancer cell tissue, that they can maybe help us to do the process more rigorously. They have like that patience that they can obviously survive. But in a lot of cases, what happens, it's not like I am creating these stories or like not, but I actually got to know that in case of stage 4, like when the stage is the patient already understand that they don't have many days to live, they already like lost the hope of getting better and all. So at that time, the number of patients who gave the consent of working on their dataset is considerably less. But in case of stage 3, for this dataset, the number of people alive is more. But here that's also a crucial factor. So from the in like demographic distributions, you need to find this kind of key insights. What does the data tells us? What does that data means to like all of the people? Now the next thing is deep learning for image classification. In case of like the slide image that I have shown you, though that slide image, do one thing. Let me show you how to access the slide image. Suppose here it's a TCGA BLCA data, and here is, I think it's not given. 1 minute. Basically, to access the dataset, you need to first get to know the slide, like what is the slide ID for that, and go to the TCGA GTC portal, and here just paste the slide image name. Then you got this category case, click on that, and after clicking on that, this is the portal that you get. Now, here in the image field, to view the slide image, you need to click on there. But after clicking on there is two slides that is given, TS1 and DX1. Now this is very crucial. You need to understand which is the one you are working for. While copying the data, like slide ID, we are copying the ID for DX1. So to get the image for to get the image, you need to get the DX1 obviously. If you like click on the TS1 and start doing your work, obviously that will give you a wrong result. So you need to very to the point about those things, like what is given and what is not. And you can ask why these two images is shown. Basically, they are they match the with the slide image. On which slide image the name is matching or not. So in that case the name is matching, and in that case also the name is matching. So though is everything is not matching, but it is, as it is partially matched, so they shown the both of the things. So that's another thing. Now again go to the slide back and let me tell you how does this deep learning thing work. So for the deep learning for image classification, as I have already told you that the slide image that we have worked on is a very large, like which consider a 1.2 GB or 1.3 GB. So for a particular machine, whether that's of high capability or not, it's kind of difficult for the machine to process the whole data in one way. That's why what does that kind of things do? Basically, the whole slide image are getting partitioned into different compartments, and that's for that considered as the patches. So basically, a particular whole slide image is getting divided in some patches, and each patch is going to be trained by a model. So what is written? Data deep learning model obviously automate classification and biomarker detection. Biomarker, I have already told you, biomarker means the ways, the possible solutions that we get to treat some cell tissues, those things. Here I going to discuss about Titan and Conch. So what is the main difference between Titan and Conch? I told you that while working on that slide images, first you need to make the patches and then you need to train on that model. Titan means Titan work on that training the model. It don't give you the dividing on patches, that doesn't done by Titan. Titan learned the patch level representation and gave you the embeddings. But the use of Conch is Conch used to do this patches division part, and it can gives you a robust image embedding. But does it means that Titan don't give you a robust embedding? In case of the Titan, what happens? It can give you embeddings, but it doesn't give you like a more vivid way of getting embeddings. To get a better result, you need to use Conch, and that's why while like training the slide images, you need to use both the model. First you need to do done the patches, and after that you need to train the particular patches by using Titan model. Now as I again told you that the this cancer research is kind of private, you don't disclose any particular organization's work with you. So maybe the data sets I show you how to download the data and work on that. But to get to know about like to work on Titan and Conch, Titan is not like publicly available. It's kind of private. You need to have a login token key, and by using that, you can do the work for Titan. But Conch, the use of Conch is kind of public, like hybrid aspect. Like some of the things are public, but some of the things are private. But in case of Titan, all of the things are private, and the Titan model is given by Mahmood Lab from Harvard University. Now this is a sample code which I given to how to do the embedding. First, what is here, if you look at there, these patches, there is another function. Actually, it's a very long code and it's not possible to cover all the code right now, and all of you guys gets bored if I show all the codes here. So I just put a small part how to like how does this work. Here patches, we get the patches by using some functions and by using some methods. After that, those patches we used here, this patch equal to patch 2.2 devices. Why? Because in some of the cases we need to depend on GPU. So beforehand we need to understand if the CPUs like workflow doesn't get our work done, then we need to shift to a GPU too. That's why there are some code written for the device transformation. And after that, here we, after getting the embedding, how do we get the embedding? We need to use this patch. Here we first get the patches, and that patch help us to get this embedding. And this model, what is this meaning of model? This is the basically use of the Titan model. Titan model is used here, and these patches are done by the conch model. And here this is the how does the embeddings are represented here. First the TCGA ID, then slide ID, level, grade, and then the embedding for a particular slide image. Now for a particular slide image, the embedding can be of 1024 cross 1024 size, is like it's that of large size. But it's not always that. Maybe in case of Titan, the size of a particular embedding is 512 cross 512. Like those things are varied. It's not like all of the models give you same output. But if you like want this 1024 cross 1024 size, then you need to use some other model. Like there are some another model, maybe VIT transformer, that also used to implement, and because of that we get a like of image of high dimension. Now we come to the gene level mutation and expression analysis. In case of gene level mutation, how to we basically get the data from the CBio portal. Before going to how to process the gene expressions and how to work on the data that is available from CBio portal, this is the basic genomic workflow. First you need to download the data, then pre-processing it. In case of medical data set, this is one of the main crucial part. We need to do a lot of pre-processing, because as there are a lot of field that is null values, and it's not like for all the data the same null value is used. Somewhere maybe you get that hyphen, maybe you get double hyphen. So you need to do a lot of pre-processing. After that you need to do some quality control. Quality control means which data gives us the better result and which not. If a lot of data is not giving us a better result, then is it fine to like delete all those results? There is another thing, maybe in a particular data, if 75% of the data is of null value, then you obviously can't impute that. Why? Because if you everything imputed by using the mean and like do some standardization, then it can affect the overall insight of the data. So that's another thing you need to understand about. And there is also like just by getting these genomic data, we can't do all of the things. Genomic data comes after working on the BLC, like TCGA, GGC data. Genomics data is like we are getting into more details. So first you need to do some resources done, to do some work done. First we need to work on that data that is giving us from a particular cohort, like BLCA, BRCA, HNSC, LGG, LUSC, and there are lots of cohort. First you need to do that. First, after that you need to get your embeddings done, and after that it comes to the genomics part. And the result that you get to the genomic parts, you need to merge that part with the data that we are getting from the like TCGA GDC portal, like from the cohorts data. And after using both of them, you can do a multimodal fusion, and there are a lot of things. So it depends on you how far you are going. So after that, here gene level mutation, what are the things that we are used? Basically Python, NumPy, pandas are one of the main thing. It has lots of use. And identify gene groups. Gene groups means there are different types of gene groups. I also show you what are the different types of gene groups. The first one is tumor suppressor genes, oncogenes. There are cell differentiation markers and a lot of this kind of genes. And for a particular gene group, there are some other genes too. And perform cross cohort comparison across cancer type. Means what? Suppose in the BLCA there are 8 tumor suppressor genes, and for the LUSC there are suppose 50 tumor suppressor genes. And if you want to like cross cohort comparison, so how many genes are common in both the data set, so that can be also done. and visualize the result obviously using Matplotlib or Seaborn. Now, before going to the cross-cohort gene comparison in more detail, I want to show you how to access the GBio portal's data. So first go to the Google and write CBio portal. Suppose CBio portal BLCA data. Here you can look at this bladder urethral carcinoma, TCGA, pan cancer atlas. Pan cancer atlas is for like there are a lot of BLCA data present. This is particularly for pan cancer atlas. And if you click here, then you got to see there is a like file that have got to be downloaded. I am not going to download this file right now, rather I show you what are the data that is present in this kind of file. I already pre-downloaded it. Suppose this data set, this is also come as a zip file and you first need to extract those files. There are various files that is presented there. The most useful files, it's not like others are unuseful, it's not like that. But the main files that we have used is data CNA, data mutations, and this RSEM Z scores reference all samples. This is all samples files. Now there, I think a lot of you well about this term Z score. In stat, I think a lot of you know about how come the Z scores comes from. So the main concept of Z score here is it first check. Suppose we are getting the data for BLCA. It checks the other RACM value for other cohorts data, and then they compare the values, and after that they got the Z score. It's not like the only concept that we use in stat, like in normal distribution the Z score that we got, it's not like all of the things are there. It first check the details that is presented in other cohort and how they are vary from each cohort, and after that they got the result. Now cross cohort gene comparison. Cross cohort gene comparison means CPTSC. Here another mention of CPTSC, TCG and CPTSC is like there are difference between this TCGA and CPTSC. TCGA is only considered about for getting the data for like BLCA, BRCA, this kind of cohorts, only gene expression, cancer like histopathological data and like that. But in case of CPTSC, CPTSC is also very useful for the data for protein analysis. You can got those data of proteins and then you can like enhance more as you can your research. That's the thing. And you can identify recurrently mutated genes across cancer type. The previously that I have told you, you can obviously do some analysis considering different types of cohorts and how they interfere. Next is here I have represented frequency of common genes per gene group. See, I already told you gene groups means these are all the gene groups. Maybe there are two gene groups that's not present there. They are not available in my data set. That's why I don't do the analysis there. Here, what I show that for particular gene group like tumor suppressor genes, how many number of genes presented considering all of the cohorts like BLCA, BRCA, LUSC and like that. And after that, I put a proportions by common genes. Now you can ask like is it necessary to do both kind of visualization? Actually in some of the cases it required to do all the visualization, but in some cases like while doing how what is the proportion, maybe you can do a table and give the proportion to, but always visualization has a better impact. To put the proportion, always use a pie chart. And also I want to show another thing. In the CBio portal, I already told you that in CBio portal why it is more user friendly than TCGA GDC portal. If you look at the CBio portal, there is already this kind of charts that is present. If you look at here, this is the sex ratio, like how many people are male and how many people are female. But in case of if you look at again at TCGA portal, you never get to see this kind of like visualization by yourself. TCGA BLC. If you look at here, a minute, then this is the things that is get to you have. So you need to do the analysis by yourself. But in case of CBio portal, what happens? Maybe you are not particularly know about how to do the analysis. Then you can look at that portal and you can know about how does these things are going on. So it's kind of more user friendly in considering how both of the data like portal is working on. Now next, as I already told you that the how to like Z score is working on, I want to show you how we read the mRNA file. mRNA file is also basically there are three types of file. One is RNA, mRNA, and another one is microRNA. So this is delimited just for as it is \t. It's not like you in each and every file that happens. But in case of maximum of the medical data sets, always remember the delimiter is a lot of cases is \t. So while reading this file, you need to got to see about that also. And if you don't, then you get a lot of errors and it's become frustrating for you. So this is the file destiny path, and after that we, as this is a text file, so to do some data analysis, it's always better to first read the file as a CSV. So that's why I first convert it to a CSV file and do some like these two lines dfrna dot columns dfrna. It's not like you have to do it, but by looking at the data you need to understand what are the information key things you need to do or not. That's the thing. And here I have like put down a Python example to do some mutation analysis. Mutation analysis means previously I have shown you like to the bar plot of common gene count group, and here is the code like how to do that bar plot, like the visualization of that bar plot. First you need to put the file name that containing all common genes all TCGA. Now do you already get those beforehand or you don't get those beforehand? First you need to create that gene.df file, which is a tensor file. After getting those gene.df files, you need to like first calculate what are the common genes, and after that you need to common gene file as a .xlsx or .csv, whatever suits you. And after that you need to read and then do the like operations. So it's not like a one step process, it needs a rigorous process and a lot of works have to be done to get a particular result. And what's the summary? Summary is that computational oncology, it's not like it has a barrier, it's a ever exploring field and it helps us to do a lot of research and lot of things. And AI for cancer research help us to give us a better result day by day, and so that we can one day cure all the cancer problems. And multiomics histopathology integration obviously gives us a better result, that I told you that histopathology integration means it's not like only gene expression gives us a result only, like cohort from the data that we getting from cohorts that give us better result. Rather all the things combining give us a the most like impact result. And explainable AI and clinical translation day by day give us the more robust way to do the cures, to get the cures. Future direction, the thing is, as the datasets that are presented at the TCG and CPTSC is open dataset, I think it will be a good thing for those people who has an interest on computational oncology. They can like download the data and first do the things that from your intuition that we get. Then after you came across a lot of errors, it's not like that all of the things you get error free. And there is another thing that I want to say, maybe a lot of people till today consider that using like AI like ChatGPT and all is prohibited. It's absolutely not like that. You can obviously use ChatGPT and get your result done, but there is a big but, and that is you have to know what's the result that ChatGPT is given you, and is it correct, is it aligns with the result that you actually want. You always can take help from AI, but don't like fully consider that AI gives you like 100% correct result. It doesn't happen. It doesn't never happen. While like doing this, when I at the beginning first done some deep learning models work, at that time I used to get a lot of errors in my code. Like there are some errors which comes from the embeddings part, and maybe that doesn't align the result that ChatGPT is given. Maybe it's of dimension 324 cross 324, but I know that model can give 524. So if you like just accept the result and don't work more, then obviously your work is not going to be get satisfied. You need to like first understand, is the result that I am getting is the result that I want or not. If not, then how can I get the result? So that's the thing you need to obviously focus on. And personalized oncology and improved patient outcomes, as more and more people will work on cancer data sets, some more innovations come, obviously we get some we can get help some more people, and they also can get a better life. And next I want to open to Q&A session. If anyone has any question, then I am happy to answer. Is anyone has any question?
By the way, everyone who has joined the session, please fill the feedback form we are sharing in the like comment section of the meet.
So I think nobody has question, but if you any one of you has any question, you can put that on the chat box too. I am happy to answer any question that you guys have.